Hi, I'm April Allen at Michigan State University, and I'm going to talk today about the role of the communication co-chair. The communication co-chair is the primary contact for the program and also the spokesperson for the visiting team. And we want you to know, the program to know, we're here to help. It's not an adversarial relationship.
So, April, visiting teams receive the program's self-study program analysis report 8 weeks prior to the site visit. As the communication coordinator, what do you do once you've received a program analysis report?
Once I receive the report and the whole team gets the report, then I look over the report to see if there's any gaps in the information, if anything needs clarifying, and then I also get input from my team after they've read the report. And at that time, I would contact the program to let them know, and contact CETA to let them know if there's if the report is sufficient or if there are some gaps in the PAR.
Great. And then another one of your responsibilities is to work with the program to organize the site visit schedule. So what sorts of things are you looking for in that schedule?
Well, the site visit schedule, we would like to know that there's enough time to view the student work, and also that there's enough time for the team meetings. And so we would communicate with the program on that and let them know. Also, another duty that I would look at as the communication co-chair is assigning the standards. Each site member, each site visit, each team member would have different standards they were looking at. So I ask the team members which standards they're familiar with and comfortable working with, and then I would assign them on that basis.
And then another responsibility of the communication co-chair is to provide leadership during the interviews that take place when you're on site. So as a communication co-chair, how do you like those interviews to be organized? And how do you go about formulating interview questions?
Okay, there's different ways of organizing the interviews. For instance, we've done individual interviews with faculty, we've done group interviews with faculty, so a lot of that is determined by working with the program and seeing what their preferences are, and then what the site visitors' preference is. And we meet with students, we meet with faculty. All of these meetings, you should practice professional courtesy at all times with anyone that's involved in the review process. When you meet with students, you can ask open-ended questions. Ask them, do you do sketching in your classes, and if so, how do you work with that? And when interviewing faculty, you might ask, do you teach global issues, and if so, how is that done? You would ask them for clarification on things. You could ask them to describe things or comment on and phrase things in that manner.
And then another responsibility during those interviews that usually falls within the scope of the communication coordinator is to talk to the program and students about the value of CETA. So what types of things do you like to communicate?
Well, first of all, to let them know CETA is really the foundation for future excellence in the interior design profession. They do this by setting standards for education and also by accrediting academic programs. And the emphasis on this is on student achievement. It is a process of peer review.
And then another responsibility of the communication co-chair is to resolve any conflicts that might arise on site. And those could be conflicts with other team members, maybe some conflicts with scheduling things with a program. Have you ever experienced any issues?
Sure, yes. And first of all, let me say it's important to work to understand differences of opinion when they arise and demonstrate appreciation of diverse perspectives. A couple of things that I've heard about were, for instance, a program wanted the team to have a formal breakfast meeting with the president of the university for the exit interview. And CETA preferred that we did not have this sort of formal breakfast because you're presenting weaknesses and strengths of the programs, and if there were more weaknesses than strengths in a program, this could become an uncomfortable situation. And I also heard of an incident where faculty and team members were arguing over whether or not there was documentation and evidence in the student work of a particular standard. And this is something you'd probably want to get to the point of notifying CETA about if there are situations like that that arise. And other responsibilities, one other responsibility I'd like to mention is that the co-chairs mentor other site visitors, and particularly the new site visitors. The last thing I'd like to talk about is the communication co-chair is responsible after the site visit for sending out thank you letters to the program, to the administrators of the university and the program chair.